Hey guys, this is my second time sitting here and doing like a little talkative video, and it's also my second time doing this at a time where I intended to film something entirely different and that just flopped. So these are very improvised. I don't really know what the title of the video will be. I'm not sure what direction this video will take, so I'm not sure why you even clicked here, but I hope it's helpful or interesting, and if you have anything to add to the conversation, please do so in the comments. I feel like those videos are a little bit more intimate, but they also feel like more of an exchange. So yeah, it would be nice. Okay, wait, let me firstly introduce the train of thought. And also my mic is about to die, so I'm really praying that it does not just die as I'm filming. But anyway, so yesterday I went to the movies and I watched this French movie called Guru. It's basically this very well-known life coach who does those big shows, guides people towards a better version of themselves and blah, blah. And so the storyline is basically, this big life coach who's very well-known in France and who goes through challenges, is all I'll say. The movie was quite interesting for various reasons. I won't go too much into the movie, to be honest. I'll just jump right into what I have to say because my mic's about to die. Sorry. Obviously, one of the main themes is positivity and also the responsibility that one has over their fulfillment, joy, success, happiness. And that led me to think about several things. Well, first of all, for myself, I consider that I am a very positive person and I am an optimist, and I do so very easily. Like, it's not really something that I trained myself to be. And when I thought about it, I realized that it's mainly because I haven't really had hard times in my life. My life has been pretty easy, to be honest. So obviously that's a blessing, but it also comes with so many blind spots, because I have to be careful of and aware of my own blind spots, because I don't want to jump into this toxic positivity of like, it's your duty to feel happy. There's a lot of things that people cannot control fully. But for myself, I think my optimistic nature comes both from obviously my experience. But other than that, I think that there's also a part of my overall perspective in life that's very detached. And when I say that, I don't mean in terms of people, because obviously I do get attached to human beings. I think that's just a human trait of mine. But I don't really get attached to things or situations or events or anything material, really, because for one, I do believe that everything happens for a reason. And so whenever something that I would perceive as unfortunate happens to me, I always believe that later on I'll be able to look back and understand why such thing happened in the way that it did. And throughout my life, I could confirm that that's pretty much what happens all the time. Like, whenever something unfortunate happens, there's something better or different that leads me to somewhere better. Everything happens for a reason. Maybe that's something I've developed over time, but let's say, okay, I got here biking. Let's say I bike and suddenly, I don't know, I have a flat tire. I'll automatically go to worst case scenarios. It could be raining, or it could be both of my tires, or I don't know, it could be midnight and no one's out, and I don't know, there's so many. Ooh. There's a bump right there, and it's been a few cars that miss it. I wonder if I'm a distraction to them, because I do feel like this is a very, as you can tell, quiet spot. So it's a bit random what I'm doing right here. So I feel like people last time I came here, someone slowed down and thought that I had an issue with my bike or something. And so I feel like maybe that's what happened a few times. Well, let me not even feel like I'm concerned. Maybe they just don't even pay attention to the road and they're on their phone. Yeah, I just automatically think about worst case scenarios, and that automatically puts my situation in perspective, because obviously we could always say that the grass is greener elsewhere, but someone else looking at your situation is also thinking that your grass is greener for sure. So yeah, I think that that's one of the things that I've done throughout my life consecutively that has helped me to have a more positive perspective on things that happen to me. And that doesn't mean that your situation automatically becomes good, or like, you know, you have to lie to yourself and gaslight yourself and be like, oh, there's no biggie, like this is fun, whatever I'm experiencing is fun. I'm not saying that you should make up joy in an unjoyful situation, but I'm just saying it could be worse. And when you think of it that way, I feel like it does alleviate a bit of stress, at least for me. Obviously, everything I'm sharing here is my opinion, my perspective, my own life situation, which is why I invite you to actually talk back, because it's also a challenge for me to deepen my own perspective and my own thoughts, and then truly see if what I believe in is rational or if I can defend it. It's just an intellectual challenge that I appreciate. So I would really not mind if someone came with a different perspective. My hair is a bit of a mess and it's kind of annoying to me, but whatever. Okay. That's one of the things that the movie led me to think about, just my own relationship to joy, fulfillment. I'm really trying to avoid the word happiness because I don't know how to pronounce it in English, to be fully honest with you. So like anytime you hear me say other words, really what I want to say is happiness, but I don't really know how to pronounce it. Anyway, moving on. Another thing that the movie led me to think about is truly the fact that that's when my mic died, and I didn't realize for a couple minutes until this very moment where I went, is my mic dead? And it was indeed. Alright, so my mic died and I didn't notice, but I'm back and I'm better. Where was I? I was about to say the second thing that the movie led me to think about, which was how much of other people's well-being is truly in our power as bystanders. And the more I think about it, the more I want to say that very little is in our power, actually. Obviously, like, if my friend is not doing well, I'm gonna do my best to, you know, be there for them, listen to them, take them out, distract them, whatever they need. If they need to talk their feelings out, you know, I'll be there for them. But that doesn't mean that I really have power over how they feel afterwards. And that's the thing, it's that no matter what other people do for you in times where you're not doing well, it can't ever surpass what you can do for yourself. And again, I want to be very delicate here and very nuanced, because I'm not saying that, you know, if you're sad or anxious or whatever it may be, like if you're going through hard times, then it's your problem and it's for you to solve. That's not where I want to go. It is a nuanced statement, but it is still something that others can't do for you. So there is still a part of responsibility, either in how much you change your habits, because oftentimes you get into a loop where you don't even see the options available to you. You know this thing where people will tell you like, oh, look around you and think of everything that's green. And then when you come back to them, they're like, so name me 3 things that were yellow. And you can't think of anything because that's not what you were focused on. And where attention goes, energy flows. And so I feel like it's the same for negative loops. When you're so consumed by the bad things or the worrisome things or the frustrating things that are happening to you or in your life or around you, then you kind of get stuck in that loop. And that, I think, is a matter of habit at some point, where you can actually shift your perspective and you can actually train yourself to not only see the green parts but also the yellow parts that are around you. And it also reminds me of this conversation I was having with my cousins a few months ago, where we had this whole conversation about miserable people and how misery loves company. And we questioned ourselves, like, can you let miserable people in? And I have the exact moment where my cousin said it, so I'll insert it. But the answer was no.
You don't have to suffer the consequences of what you understand.
Yes.
And should I elaborate on what that means, or will you remember?
You can elaborate to make sure.
You elaborate.
Let's put you to the test. It means that although you understand people, you can understand where they come from, and you can have empathy for their backgrounds and their stories, you don't have to be the consequence of what they went through. If you know better and you've healed and you also deserve better than to suffer
their misery.
Yeah.
Genre, if they're miserable, I can understand it and see it and feel for you, maybe.
Yeah.
Depending on who you are.
From a distance.
From a distance. But then I don't have to accommodate that
subject.
misery and be subject to it. Voilà.
Yeah. Can you let miserable people in?
Mm-hmm.
No, you can't. I'm sorry, you can't. You gotta go. You gotta go, bro.
Because the thing is, okay, let me come back to the basis and what I was saying earlier. I'm an optimistic person, and that's a lesson that I had to go through in 2025. So it's still very fresh and new to me. But there is a very fine line between helping others and, you know, yourself, like being a happy, optimistic person. You will radiate that positivity around you because that's who you are. But then there is a line where if you give, and all you can take is negativity, well, you're either joining them in their misery or you're exiting, because there's no in between. Truly, there's no way to stay sane and happy and fulfilled in a miserable environment. I was really in my flow earlier, but now this is a terrible outro, and I'm sorry I cut the video. I thought I wouldn't do anything of it, but turns out I'm actually sharing it. So I guess this is it, and there's so much we could add to this conversation, so feel free to do so in the comments, and see you soon. Bisous.